This video is about how to teach children to do mental addition to 100. If you have not already watched my previous videos on how to do or how to teach mental math, please watch those first so that you can see the basic structure of how to do this before we get into these bigger numbers. Okay, so once children know how to do addition and subtraction through 20 mentally, you can move on to bigger numbers. So the first thing we'll do is just make sure that they understand when we are adding some ones that will not go past the 10. So we have 12 plus 4. Here's 10 and 2. And here's 4. So all we have to do is add 2 and 4. Don't have to do anything with this 10 at all. 2 and 4 is the same thing as 6. So our answer is 16. The way to show this with an abacus is, there's 12, and if you're going to add 4, you just bring 4 more, and you have 10 and 6, so the answer is 16. Here's another example. We have 83 plus 5, so we have 8 tens and 3, and we are going to add 5 to that. So all you have to do is add the 3 and the 5, and that's the same as 8, so our answer is 88. With the abacus, you can do, here's 83, and we are going to add 5 to the 3, and so we have 88. So that's the easy way to begin. Just show them adding the ones together, then we'll move on to something harder. All right, the next step is where the ones will add together to equal a 10. So 43 plus 7, 3 and 7 is 10. So we have one extra 10 here, and that gives us 50. Now to show this on the abacus, we can do 43, there's 4 tens and 3, and we add 7, and we can see that we have 5 tens, or 50. Once children have done a lot of problems like those, we can move into crossing over the 10, or bridging 10. So here we have 15 plus 8. We can think 5 wants to be 10. How many more does it need? It needs 5. So let's change that 8 into a 5 and a 3 so that we can give 5 to the other 5. And then we can change this for a 10, and we have 23. Now notice we didn't do anything with this guy over here. It's the same thing as adding just 5 plus 8. We just have an extra little guy hanging out there. So same concept. That's why learning how to mentally add and subtract within 20 is the foundational concept for mental addition and subtraction. Doing this with an abacus, we have 10 and 5, there's 15. We want to add 8, there's 8. So we think 5 wants to be 10, it needs 5 more. So let's take 5 away from the 8 and give it to the 5. So we have 2 tens and 3, 23. Okay, here we have almost exactly the same thing, just with 3 extra tens here. So 45 plus 8. Another way we could do that, instead of thinking 5 wants to be 10, we can think 8 wants to be 10. What does it need? It needs 2. So we'll trade our 5 for a 2 and a 3 so that we can give this 2 to the 8. And now the 8 is a 10, and we have 13 here. We can bring that 10 over, and we have 53. Now what I just did is basically the normal algorithm or formula that people use for carrying or regrouping when they're doing it on paper. So you can show children that and show it how it has to do with what you're showing them on paper to do. With the abacus, we have 45 plus 8. We could think 8 wants to be 10. How many more does it need? It needs 2. So let's take 2 away from the 5, give it to the 8. So now we have, here's 4 and 5, 5 tens and 3 ones, 53. 38 plus 4. These guys are just here hanging out. You don't have to do anything with them. You just think 8 wants to be 10. What does it need? It needs 2. So let's trade our 4 for 2 2s. And then we can give one of those 2s to the 8 to make him a 10. We'll trade that for 10. And our answer is 42. With the abacus, it looks like this. We have 38 plus 4. Now our 8 wants to be 10. What does it need? Look over here. It needs 2. So let's take 2 from the 4, give it to the 8. So now we have 4 10s and 2 1s, 42. 26 plus 9. All right, so again, these two guys are just hanging out. We don't have to do anything with them. We can either make the 6 a 10 or the 9 a 10. Usually it's easier to make 9 a 10, so let's do that. 9 wants to be 10. What does it need? It needs 1. So let's trade that 6 for a 1 and a 5 so that we can give 1 to the 9. And now we have a 10 here. And we can bring that over and add it to our other 2 10s. So we have 35. With the abacus, it looks like this. We have 26 plus 9. 9 wants to be 10. What does it need? It needs 1. Let's take 1 from the 6, give it to the 9. So it's a 10 now. We have 3 10s and 5 1s, 35. Once children understand how to add a single-digit number to a 2-digit number, we can start by teaching them how to add 10s to a 2-digit number. So here's 39 plus 20. This is super easy with the rods. All you do is take the 20, bring it over with the other 10s. So now you have 5 10s and 9 1s. So your answer is 59. With the abacus, this is very obvious as well. We have 39 plus 20. So we're just going to say, how many 10s do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 10s, that's 50, and 9, 59. Moving on to adding 2 2-digit numbers. We have 39 plus 24. The first thing that you can do when adding mentally is to add the 10s. So 30 plus 20, that's 50. And then we just have the 9 and the 4 left. 9 wants to be 10. What does it need? It needs 1. So we will trade our 4 for a 1 and a 3. So we can move our 1 up here so that we can have a 10. And now we have 6 10s and 3 1s, 63. With the abacus, 39 plus 24. We obviously have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 10s here, so we need to combine our 1s, 9 1s and 4 1s. 9 wants to be 10, it needs 1. Let's take 1 from the 4, give it to the 9. So now we have 6 10s, 3 1s, 63. 77 plus 16. So the first thing we can do is combine our 10s. We'll take this 1 10 and bring it over here. And we can look at that as 87 plus 6. So our 7 wants to be a 10. He needs 3 more. So let's change our 6 into 2 3s so that we can give a 3 to the 7. And now that's a 10. So our answer is, let's see, 4, 4, and 1, 93. With the abacus, we have 77 plus 16. There's a 10 and a 6. So we have 7 and 1 more 10s, so that's 8 10s. Our 7 wants to be a 10, it needs 3 more. Let's take 3 from the 6, give it to the 7, and now we have 9 10s and 3 1s. The answer is 93.